Hi, I wanted to tell you a little bit about how to do your annotated bibliography for your science project, your climate change project. And so, as you know, you have the guide here about your project, and all of the links and things that we're going to talk about are going to be in this section here called Annotated Bibliography Lesson. And I'll also put this slideshow there. So, what is an annotated bibliography? It is simply a list of all of your sources that you're using for your project, and with each source you have a explanation called an annotation underneath. So, you'll have at the top your source perfectly cited in APA format, and then an annotation under, which will probably be 2 paragraphs for each source. Now, this might seem like a chore and, why bother? But it's a very important step when you're doing a research task. It helps you identify for yourself and your teacher what you have learned about your sources, and it helps you to evaluate your sources, to really examine each one and make sure that it is high quality. The other thing that it helps you do is identify any holes in your research early on. So before you put a lot of effort into an essay or a presentation, you take a look at your sources and the information you have and make sure that all the information you'll need is actually there. And of course, it's a great way to practice correct citations. So it comes in 2 steps. The first step is to cite each of your sources in APA. I'll talk a little bit about that in this video and then more detail in a different video. And then you're going to write your full annotation for each of your sources. So the first step is to cite. We use PaperPile at our school, and I do highly recommend that you use it. Another good place to go is this one called Oregon Library System. And this is a great place to create a citation from scratch, to check your PaperPile citations, or just to do them from here. So I recommend that one. Whichever one you choose, make sure that you're choosing APA. So here I'm in PaperPile, I'm choosing 2 of my sources, and I go up to Cite and check Change Citation Style, and I want to make sure it says American Psychological Association here. And if it doesn't, I can search for it up above. And that way, when I do my citations, create my citations, it will be in the right format. I'll talk more about this one, Oregon Library System, later, but it's an excellent tool for creating citations. And we talked about PaperPile and how it can help you organize and cite everything. The trick is you have to proofread and make sure that everything is complete. So here, for example, I want to cite this source, but it says right here that it's incomplete. So I need to edit it and fill in anything that might be missing. I go back to my source and fill it in. APA is very similar to MLA, which you've used in middle school. The main difference is that APA puts a high value on the date. So you'll see in APA that the year comes right after the author, or if you don't have an author, it will come after the title of the article. There's a link there to see other formats, but this is a very basic and common format that you'll see in APA. After you've got your citations done, then you're on to the writing, and you're going to have 2 parts to each annotation, a summary and an evaluation. So for the summary, you're going to include the key points of the information that you learned. You're taking a larger amount of text and shrinking it down to just the key information. And then the next part of the annotation is the evaluation. And this is where you are making a case that your source is a good one. So maybe you've done a little research about the author. Maybe you are talking about how current it is. Maybe you're talking about the purpose and it's not selling you anything, it's trying to educate you. And you're also talking about any of the limitations that you have noticed. Maybe it's not a perfect source in every way, but you recognize those limitations ahead of time. I'm going to give you a checklist where you can check your work. Citations are either perfect or totally wrong, so you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the little details. I've also included a little very quick video about how to do reverse indentation, which is a requirement in a proper citation. All right, thanks very much. I hope you find that useful.